Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video we're over here on the Japanese side of the game with the new Kizuna Jack that has just released. And in today's video I do have two teams for you guys for each variation, so I haven't really had enough time to actually sit down and look at this Kizuna. I have had a lot going on with the Kizuna on Global, as well as the treasure map on Global, as well as the treasure map on Japan. So this is like the kind of the end of the line for me when it comes to like all the big content. We also have the Yoshi video coming out some point today as well, so I was looking forward to that. I was really hoping that it would actually come out at news o'clock, but unfortunately I got my time zones mixed up, so it is what it is there. But look, unfortunately we just have to wait a couple more hours, and unfortunately I won't be doing a live reaction or anything like that because like I will be working, so I'll probably watch the video after it, or I might slide onto Twitter and see how we go there. But the moral of today's video is to actually take down the new Kizuna Jack and give you guys a couple teams to take him on. So I do have two teams for each variation, as I mentioned. One team is utilizing double Toki, where the other team is just basically just trying to get through it as well and as quickly as possible, I guess. So make sure you are using double Buggy if you are farming these tickets. It does work very, very nicely getting those extra drops. So we're going to do that. We're going to get some more tickets, and then we're going to fast forward to the first fight. Alright, so for the first color variation, we're taking on the strength variation of Jack. So this is the first team I've put together for you guys. It uses a Anniversary Luffy with the Brûlée support, as well as using a friend Ace Sabo. Now, the Brûlée support isn't essential, mainly because we are using Ace Sabo on this particular team, but the Brûlée support is quite nice, so that way you don't have to worry about utilizing the Ace Sabo special at the end, but you can still get access to their super typing as well. So strength, Strength, Quick, and Psy units all get their cooldowns for this particular fight. And once we hit stage 2, we actually come up against King. Now, King is going to have defense up. He puts up 4 turns of defense up. So we're actually just going to switch with our Ace Sabo here to give ourselves color affinity. And then we can actually remove the defense up with our what's his name? The Sea Monster. So the Sea Monster is going to give us an orb boost as well for our Psy and our Quick units. And with that, we should have enough damage to actually just take out King easy peasy. Beautiful. If you do hit, I think it's 4 perfects. I think it's 4 perfects. You can actually get the carryover of that orb boost as well. But in the early stages, it's going to be a little bit hard to do so. Otherwise, what you can do is you can actually use the Ace Sabo special. Oh, actually, so it's only 3 perfects. That's actually really, really nice. So we are going to switch back to get that overheal mechanic with our Shirishari. We can switch back with Ace Sabo to give ourselves a color affinity buff. And just be mindful, if you do use a orb buff against Jack, he's actually going to blow away all of your positive effects. So it's very, very important you either use the Ace Sabo on the previous turn, or you actually use the Sea Monster, as the Sea Monster is going to give us that carryover of the orb buff. We can get an attack buff with our Luffy unit. That's going to give us a nice chunky 2.75 to our quick units. We can then give ourselves the 5 times captain multiplier with Ace Sabo. They are another option for rotating block orbs as well. We've got the conditional against delay, as we are over 50,000 with this particular team. And then we can basically just turn everyone into bears. Now, I don't have a way to get the super typing on this particular team. It's not really going to matter too much, but as time goes on, I will sort of look at making it a little bit more optimized to get a little bit more damage with our super type Luffy. But I don't imagine this team will struggle at all. It's going to work very, very well. Alright, so for the second team against the strength variation, we are using double Toki and Kids. So the main reason for using the double Toki team is just to get more ticket drops. If you guys do have Kinemon, I would find a spot for Kinemon on this particular team as well, as that way you can just maximize your drops significantly. But if you can try and bring a friend Toki, then that is just going to put you guys in real good stead as well. This particular team is sort of just built around 2 units hitting very, very hard, as we do have the specials of our Toki and Kids giving the 3.5 times attack boost to 2 particular units. So what we're going to do on this particular stage, we're going to utilize the special of our Onami to set the defense to 0 and get the conditional boost, which is really, really nice. We can then switch with our Shanks crew for an attack boost. We can then use the Toki and Kids special. We're actually going to use the Toki and Kids special on our captains. But when things start to get a little bit harder, we can actually use them on our middle row. We're going to switch with Shirishari once again, just like we did in the first team, as well as use the special of Shanks Crew. The reason we're using Shanks Crew special here is because we get the 3 turns of attack boost. And with that, we can just easily decimate King, no issues whatsoever. Once we move on to the final stage, however, we come up against Jack, who has full immunity and he has that silver HP cut shield. Basically, what Jack does is he's going to give us paralysis for our entire crew, but because we've got the immunity with the Toki legends, we can get around that on our captains. But we do have the support of Brûlé to actually remove the block orbs. We can then switch with our Shirishari. Shirishari is going to give us paralysis removal, give us a full heal. Well, not a full heal, but a massive heal, as well as give us a full board of rainbow orbs. Now, the heal's great for this particular team, is that way we actually get access to the guaranteed conditional of the Kuja Pirates. That's really the big reason we actually want to use this. And then we're finally going to finish it off with the super typing of our Toki legend. The big reason we're doing that is so we actually get the color affinity, which is really, really nice. And just remember that Jack actually has an interrupt for this particular fight if you do use an attack boost, so you do want to be careful there. But we are hitting for what, 234 million just with one Toki, so this team it's not going to struggle at all, and it's going to give you guys a lot of drops. Just remember, if you do have the boy Kinemon, make sure to slide him in somewhere. I think he removes paralysis off the top of my head, I might be wrong there, but if he removes defense up, just replace Nami or replace Shirishari. Either of those will work fine. Alright, so moving on to the next color variation, we're versing the quick variation of Jack. And for this particular variation, we're utilizing Queen as our captain, but we're bringing a friend Toki. Now, Toki is actually a rainbow captain, or the Toki and Kids legend. So they're actually 4.75 flat rate. And because with this particular team, we really don't need anything else. We've actually got it with our 5 units. We can actually just bring a Toki until it becomes a little bit more challenging. And when we actually need our... we just need another sort of damage dealer, I guess. But this team is built around back-ended damage, so utilizing Toki as our captain is really not going to be that big of an issue. So on stage 2, we come up against Queen. Queen actually has resilience, so this is where we're actually going to use our Queen special. So that way we can... oh, actually... I totally forgot that we do need to get an orb boost here. So we're actually going to need to use our Zoro special here. The way I built this particular team was I'd actually planned on using a friend Captain Zoro, so that way we have access to 2 of our 2 orb boosts. But what we're going to do here instead is we're actually going to use the Toki special, so that way we can get the orb boost on the next turn, namely for our Queen and namely for our Zoro unit for this particular team. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try and hit the 3 perfects, but it's probably... oh, actually, no, we've got resilience. Beautiful. So if we hit our 3 perfects with Queen, we can actually get the carryover effect. Namely, so it becomes a 2.5 times chain lock, which goes up to 35 times, as well as getting that end of turn damage, which means we can actually just get through that resilience and finish off Queen easy peasy. We do get normal attacks only when we do beat Queen, and we can move on to the final stage against Jack. Now, Jack has full immunity, and he has 5 turns of threshold, I should say. Because we used an orb boost on the previous turn, we do get the auto trigger of our Queen special. That's actually going to give us that attack boost once again. As with this particular piece of content, when you do come up against Jack and you do use an attack boost, he's actually going to wipe away all your positive buffs. So we are going to use the special of our Capone. Capone's going to remove the threshold as well as change those orbs into matching, but we do have matching orbs regardless. We have color affinity for our Driven and our Cerebral units with our Croc special, and then we have the Law special to give ourselves the 1.5 times extra damage. We can finish it off with this super typing of our Queen. That's basically just going to rotate the orbs for us, which is really, really nice. You can easily replace Beige on this particular team with anyone that can remove Threshold, as you don't actually need the Threshold removal, but this team's going to work really, really well. You can easily replace Toki with, like, Legend Zoro as a friend captain, or you can actually use Zoro as your captain and then bring a friend Queen. I'd highly recommend bringing Queen, as Queen just helps out so much for this particular fight. Alright, so the next team for the quick variation is actually utilizing double Toki Legend. Now, with the double Toki, we can actually get 2.25 times ticket drops, and if you do have Kinemon, as I mentioned in the previous team, you do want to slide him onto this team somewhere, just to maximize your drops. Now, on turn 1, when we come up against Okiku, she's going to give us our special charge, and what you can actually do here is you can actually farm up and try and actually get as many like switches with your Sabo and Ace as possible. But what you really want to do here is you actually want to use one of the Toki Legend specials. That way we can actually just guarantee ourselves the 3 point whatever it is, the 3.5 times attack and orb boost on the next turn, is we don't need both of them. So what we're going to do here is we're actually just going to try and build up the chain multiplier a little bit. And that was not enough damage. I did not do that proper, but the idea was to try and do as much damage as we can to get access to that Mihawk special twice. But unfortunately, it's looking like we're not going to get that. But look, it is what it is. On the second stage, we come up against Queen, who has Resilience. So what we can do here is we can switch with Sabo and Ace to give us color affinity once again. Then we can use the Mihawk special to give ourselves a chain lock. And unfortunately, we just didn't do the damage to actually get his double special. But like I said, look, that is what it is. We're going to use the Toki special once again on our captains here. Very important that we do that so we can maximize the damage on the next turn. And then with the chain lock, we should just be able to just decimate Queen. Not even with it, we don't even need the chain lock, and it's all good. So this team's going to work very, very nicely. Once we move on to the final stage, we come up against Jack. Now remember, when you are attacking with Jack, if you use an attack boost, I actually got that wrong on the last one actually as well. It's an orb boost on the quick team. But for this one, you don't want to be using an attack buff. So the idea here is to actually get the carryover of the orbs of Toki and Momo. What we can do here is we can switch with our Sabo and Ace. That's just going to guarantee us an orb on one of our captains. We can use the Law special to give ourselves more damage. And then we can use the Beach Pirates once again to remove the threshold, as well as change some orbs if need be. But the big reason he's here is namely so we can actually get the threshold removal. We can use the Ace Sabo special if we really want to, but it's not really that essential as we're pretty much in good stead now. We are going to use the super typing of one of our Toki legends, and with that we should have plenty of damage just literally with one Toki hitting 84 million. So this team's going to work very, very well. Once again, the Toki legend, the 3.5 attack and 3.5 times orbs, provided you can guarantee yourself that orb, is actually just going to work so damn well. You can easily use the VV support. You can even use the Odin support, actually, would actually be really, really nice for this particular team on your captain, and then putting Sabo and Ace under your friend captain. That's probably what I'm going to change it to, just to maximize and get a little bit more damage. Moving on to the final color variation now, we're coming up against the Dex variation of Jack, and for this particular team we're using a friend Toki and kids, as well as verse Ace, centric around a free spirit team. So this is the team. Let's dive in. What you can actually do with this particular team too is you can actually use a friend super type Sabo. That's probably going to give you a little bit more damage, and then you can just like put Odin on the team or something like that just to give you some more damage. Or if you have Toki yourself, you can use her as a captain. But on the first sort of turn, we are sort of just going to try and farm up some of those strength dex and quick orbs for our verse Ace special. Now I haven't actually looked into it to see if there is any full immunity on this particular fight, but I guess we'll find out once we get to the end. Once we hit stage 2 though, we actually come up against page 1. Now against page 1, he's actually going to give us attack down. He gives us 4 turns of attack down. So what we can do here is we can actually remove that with our Boa special. She will lock our orbs as well as remove the attack down, which is really, really nice. We can then use our Sabo special. Sabo is going to give us color affinity as well as the perfect hits, so that way we can actually carry it into the next fight. And then we're just going to switch with our Luffy and Sanji. That way we have a little bit of color affinity here, but we shouldn't need it too much, as we should have enough damage to take out page 1 easy peasy, as we are running Toki as our friend captain. We are using the Oro Jackson as well, making it easier to hit perfects, which is really, really nice. And then we can move on to the final stage against Jack. Because we hit those perfects, because we have the clock buff, we can actually get the carryover effect. But as you can see, there is full immunity, so farming up those Ace specials is actually pretty pointless. So what we're going to do here is we're going to... Oh, actually, I forgot to use the Toki special. That's a bit of a shame, but we do have a contingency plan here. So ideally what we were meant to do is we're meant to use the Toki special on stage 2 on our Ace and our Toki and kids, so that way we're immune to the despair, and then we will actually be immune to the bind that comes at level 30 plus. But I do have a contingency plan here. We have the switchability of Luffy and Sanji as well as the Rayleigh support, and then we can actually use our Uso Hachi to remove the damage reduction, and with the support of Valentine's Nami, we can actually remove the rest of that bind and despair. We had the support of what's her name? Vivi on our Ace, so that way we had a strength orb for our captain, And then we can actually just get a massive attack boost with our Luffy and Sanji as recovery orbs are matching as well. We can use the super typing of the kids as well just to give us a little bit more damage. But as you guys are about to see, like, that is not going to be needed as we're just casually hitting for 54 mil with the Toki themselves. This team is built up around back-ended damage, so obviously that is going to get higher and higher provided you hit your perfects with your other units, which is going to be very easy to do so as we do have the Oro Jackson. But let's move on to the final team of the video now. Alright, so for the final team of the video, we are using the double Toki team once again. And this team is very, very similar to the Verse Ace team that you previously just saw. But it uses our own Toki Legend as our captain this time. And the idea of this particular team is to sort of rely on our two Tokis just to hit very, very hard. So ideally, we actually want to get an orb on them. But we are going to guarantee that with our Ace special. But as you guys saw in the beginning there, we actually have the VV support on our Toki and kids, namely so that way we can actually get the chain lock with our Ace versus Ace special. Once we hit the page 1 stage, he's going to give us 4 turns of attack down. We can easily remove that with our Boa special, and then what we're going to do here is we're actually going to use the special of our Toki and Kids Legend. That way we can guarantee ourselves the 3.5 times attack boost and orb boost on the next turn. And we can also use one of their super typings. Their super typings is going to give us the color affinity, and then we can actually use Sabo to give us the perfect hit and the orb buff to carry it into the next stage. The reason that you either want to use their super typing here, or if you want to use it on the next turn, is because if you do color affinity buff on this particular fight, he does have an interrupt. Very similar to the first variation. If you use an orb buff, the second one's an attack buff, and now this one's color affinity. The Legend, Toki, and Momo, and Hiyori can actually get around all of them, which is really, really nice. Now, I totally forgot to put Usohachi on this particular team, so I've totally stuffed this up already, which is super, super annoying. But we are going to try and give it a crack anyway. We're going to use the Verse A special to give ourselves a chain lock. We have the chain boost with our the Sabo special, the carryover, and then we're going to finish it off with some Wano slots. For this particular team, we're relying on back-end damage, so let's just see how we go. Obviously, just replace Odin with Usohachi. But even with the damage reduction, this team does 55 mil. So it's really not going to have that many issues. But easily just take off Odin, replace Odin with Usohachi. Very similar to what you guys saw in the Verse Ace team. And it's going to work fine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go in there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel too. Hit that big red subscribe button. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Let's